Hello and thanks for joining us. It's 10 a.m. on Monday, October 17th here in Seoul. I'm Mark Broom. Let's start with Seoul and Washington's efforts to rein in North Korea. The two allies are set for high-level talks in Washington this week, where they will seek to enhance their extended deterrence against Pyongyang's nuclear threats. At the Security Consultative meeting on Thursday, South Korea's Defense Minister Han Min-gu and U.S. Secretary of Defense Ashton Carter are likely to discuss the deployment of more U.S. strategic weaponry to the peninsula to deter further North Korean provocations. The U.S. nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the USS Ronald Reagan, is currently docked at a port in Busan after taking part in a joint South Korea-US naval drill last week. Now, on Wednesday, the two defense chiefs will hold a 2+2 meeting with South Korea's Foreign Minister Yoon Byung-se and his US counterpart John Kerry to discuss additional sanctions on North Korea for its September 9th nuclear test. The protracted economic slowdown here in South Korea is weighing on the job market. Even people with degrees from good schools are struggling to find work due largely to good quality, well-paying jobs drying up amid the sluggish economy. Kim Min-ji has the details.
In yet another signal that Korea's labor market is in dire straits, nearly 1 in 3 people currently out of work have a degree from a 4-year university or higher. According to Statistics Korea, the number of unemployed came to 985,000 in the third quarter of this year, while 315,000 had a top-tier degree, making up almost a third. The figure is the highest since relevant data began to be compiled in 1999 and also marks the largest proportion. Even in the aftermath of the Asian financial crisis in 1999, the proportion stood at only 12%. However, the figure has been on a steady climb. Experts attribute the rise mainly to the country's high university entrance rate. The rate stood at almost 71% as of 2014, the highest in the OECD. As a result, although there are more university graduates, there is a mismatch due to a lack of quality jobs on the back of a sluggish economy. The overall jobless rate stood at 3.6% in September, the highest for that month in 11 years. The youth jobless rate also came to 9.4%, also the highest monthly figure tallied since 1999. And in another reflection of the feeble job market, the number of people in Korea who work 17 hours or less a week hit a 5-year high in the third quarter of this year. The figure stood at around 1.3 million in the July to September period, up 91,000 from a year ago. People in that category tend to work 3 or 4 days a week or have shorter office hours. Kim Min-ji, ARIRANG News.
Now, a big blow to the so-called Islamic State as another of its Syrian strongholds has fallen to rebel forces. The Turkey-backed rebels said Sunday that they seized control of the symbolic town of Dabiq with barely a shot fired. The London-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the rebels moved in as ISIS fighters withdrew. Watchers say it was a small but significant victory for the rebels. Dabiq has played an important role in ISIS propaganda since it was seized by the group's fighters back in 2014. ISIS says the town would be the site of a great battle between Muslims and the West that would herald the apocalypse. Also, in the latest in the fight against ISIS, Iraq's Prime Minister has announced the start of a military offensive to retake the country's second city, Mosul, from the Islamic State group. The Republican candidate for the US presidency, Donald Trump, has complained that the elections are rigged at many polling stations without giving any evidence of that. Until now, Trump has claimed the elections are rigged because the media are biased against him. In a tweet posted Sunday, Trump said, and I quote, "The election is absolutely being rigged by the dishonest and distorted media pushing crooked Hillary, but also at many polling places. Sad," end quote. Trump's running mate Mike Pence also claims the election is rigged, but the vice president nominee said he and his running mate Donald Trump will absolutely accept the results of the election. Now, the race for president is still close ahead of Wednesday night's third and final debate. According to a new ABC News Washington Post poll of likely voters, Hillary Clinton leads Donald Trump by 4 points, which is within the margin of error. Clinton has 47% to Trump's 43%. An experimental probe is expected to land on Mars this week as part of a joint European-Russian mission aimed at exploring the red planet's atmosphere and search for signs of life. Kim Mok-yeon has more.
The 600-kilogram probe named Schiaparelli separated from an unmanned craft called the Trace Gas Orbiter on Sunday after its 7-month journey from Earth. The European Space Agency announced that the probe's entry, descent and landing demonstrator module all went according to plan.
We have a confirmation that the separation has occurred, and we have also confirmation that the EDM switched on its transmitter and that the radio telescope in India could pick up the signal. So this is very good news on the EDM side.
Schiaparelli is expected to enter Mars's atmosphere at a speed of 21,000 kilometers an hour. Once on the surface, it will take images of Mars and conduct scientific measurements, but its main purpose is to test technology for a future European Mars rover. Its mothership will remain in orbit to analyze gases in the Martian atmosphere to help answer whether there is or was life on Mars. However, the latest signals received from the orbiter did not contain data on the lander's onboard status.
It's an unexpected configuration of the spacecraft. The spacecraft is still there, it's transmitting, so I'm quite confident that in the next hours we will understand more.
The latest mission, led by ESA along with Russia's Roscosmos Space Agency, is a second European attempt to land a craft on Mars after Britain's infamous Beagle 2 vanished on Christmas Day in 2003. Kim Mok-yeon, ARIRANG News.
Well, that's all the news we have for now. Join us at noon Korea time for more of the latest stories out of Korea and around the world. So until then, goodbye.